Maya Thompson peered through her telescope at the night sky, admiring the stars that dotted the darkness above. At 14, she was already known in her small town as the Space Girl, always talking about distant planets and the possibility of life beyond Earth. Tonight had been perfect for stargazing, and the astronomy club meeting had run later than usual. "See you next week," she called to her friend Ellie as they parted ways at the corner of Maple and Pine. Maya checked her watch. 9:45 p.m. Her parents wouldn't be too worried. They knew where she was. She took a shortcut through the park, her telescope case bumping lightly against her leg. The path was familiar, lit by occasional lamps that cast pools of yellow light on the concrete. Maya hummed to herself, thinking about the images of Jupiter they had captured that evening. A strange blue light flickered between the trees ahead. Maya slowed her pace. It wasn't like any streetlight she'd ever seen. More like the glow of a computer screen, but much brighter. Her curiosity overcame her caution, and she moved toward it. "Hello? Is someone there?" she called out. The light suddenly intensified, expanding in a blinding flash. Maya raised her hands to shield her eyes, dropping her telescope case. When she tried to step back, she found she couldn't move. A humming sound filled her ears, growing louder until it seemed to vibrate through her entire body. Then everything went black. Maya woke to a pounding headache and a strange rhythmic hum. She kept her eyes closed, trying to remember what had happened. The park, the light, then nothing. She opened her eyes slowly and panic shot through her. This wasn't her bedroom. The walls were smooth and metallic, with strange symbols etched into their surface. The bed, if you could call it that, was a raised platform with no blankets. The air smelled sterile, like a hospital, but with an odd underlying scent she couldn't identify. "Help," she called out, her voice bouncing off the walls. "Is anyone there?" A seam appeared in the wall across from her, sliding open to reveal a corridor. And then, Maya's breath caught in her throat. A figure stepped through. It wasn't human, not even close. About 5 feet tall with gray-blue skin that seemed to shimmer slightly in the light. Its head was too large for its body, with enormous black eyes that took up most of its face. When it moved, it was with a grace that seemed unnatural. Maya pressed herself against the wall, heart pounding. "What? Who are you? Where am I?" The creature made a series of clicking sounds, then touched a device on its wrist. A mechanical voice translated, "Specimen quiet. Will bring good price." Another creature appeared behind the first, taller, and with a reddish tint to its skin. Human female. Young. Healthy. Premium category, it said through the same translation device. Understanding dawned on Maya with horrifying clarity. They were talking about her like she was merchandise, like she was something to be sold. "I'm not for sale," she said, her voice stronger than she felt. "My parents will be looking for me. People will notice I'm gone." The creatures exchanged looks that Maya couldn't interpret. The taller one made a gesture that might have been dismissive. Primitive world. No space travel. No alliance. Easy acquisition. Maya's mind raced. These were aliens. Real aliens. And they had taken her to, where? A spaceship. Another planet. She thought of all the sci-fi movies she'd watched, trying to make sense of what was happening. "You can't just take people," she said. "That's kidnapping. It's wrong." The smaller alien approached her, studying her with those large, empty eyes. "Many species at auction. Good price for human. Rare. Auction." The word hit Maya like a physical blow. These creatures had kidnapped her to sell her, like an object, like an animal. The aliens left, the wall sealing behind them, leaving no visible door. Maya sat frozen for a long moment before jumping up to examine every inch of her cell. There had to be a way out. As hours passed, Maya heard sounds from nearby. Whimpers, clicks, sounds she couldn't identify. Other captives, she realized. She wasn't alone in this nightmare. Maya was the daughter of a behavioral psychologist. Her mother always said, to solve a problem, first observe the patterns. So Maya began to watch and listen, noting when the aliens came, how they operated the door, the timing between their visits. She studied the strange symbols on the walls, wondering if they might be important. When she wasn't searching for a way to escape, she thought about Earth, about her parents. Were they looking for her? Did they have any idea what had happened? The thought of never seeing them again made her chest ache. But Maya Thompson wasn't going to become merchandise without a fight. If these aliens thought humans were just primitive creatures, easy to capture and sell, they were about to learn otherwise. Maya had lost track of time in her cell. Days? Weeks? She couldn't be sure. The only constants were the humming of engines beneath the floor and the regular visits from her captors, whom she now called the Greys, and the Reds based on their skin colors. The ship lurched suddenly, throwing Maya against the wall. The strange symbols around her cell glowed brighter for a moment, then dimmed. Something had changed. The engine sound deepened, and Maya felt a slight increase in pressure, as if they were accelerating. During the next meal delivery, she watched the Grey more carefully than usual. The alien seemed distracted, its movements hurried. As it placed the tray of unidentifiable food cubes on the platform, Maya spoke. "Where are we going?" she asked. The Grey glanced at her, surprised at the direct question. It touched its translator. Central hub. Big market. Many buyers. The Grey seemed to hesitate, then added, 3 cycles until arrival. After it left, Maya examined her meal with renewed determination. She needed strength for whatever lay ahead. 3 cycles. She guessed that meant 3 days in human terms. That night, or what passed for night when the lights dimmed, Maya was awakened by strange sounds. Scratching at her wall, followed by a series of clicks and whistles. She approached cautiously. "Hello," she whispered to the wall. The scratching paused, then resumed more urgently. A small section of the wall, not where the door usually appeared, began to shimmer and then became transparent. Beyond it was another cell, and inside was a creature unlike anything Maya had ever imagined. It resembled a cross between a lizard and an octopus, scaly skin with multiple tentacle-like limbs. Its eyes were large and golden, blinking rapidly as it stared at Maya. One tentacle pressed against the transparent section of wall. Maya approached slowly and placed her hand against the barrier. The creature mimicked her gesture. A series of gentle clicks and whistles came through, somehow understandable despite not being in any human language. "You are new. You are scared. I help." Maya's eyes widened. "How can I understand you?" The creature's skin changed color slightly, shifting to a lighter blue. "I am translator. My kind learns languages fast, absorbs meaning. I learned your words while you sleep. Can you help me escape?" Maya asked, hope rising in her chest. The creature, the translator, changed color again, this time to a deep purple. Not escape. Ship in deep space. Nowhere to go. But survive, yes. Help prepare for auction. Maya felt her hope deflate. "I don't want to be sold." "No one does," replied the translator. "But listen. Knowledge is power. I tell you about buyers, about hub. You learn, you prepare." Over the next cycle, the translator taught Maya about the galactic society she had been thrust into. There was a federation of advanced species, trading and governing across thousands of star systems. Earth was known but classified as a pre-contact world, which meant it was supposed to be protected from interference until humans developed their own space travel. "Then why am I here?" Maya asked. "Black market," the translator explained. "These traders break laws, capture species from protected worlds to sell as exotic pets, servants, curiosities." Maya felt sick at the thought, but forced herself to keep listening and learning. The central trading hub was an enormous space station where legal and illegal trade happened side by side. The auction would be held in a secretive section. "Who buys?" "People," she asked. The translator's skin rippled. "Collectors. Rich beings who want rare things, some kinder than others. During their conversations, Maya also learned about the ship they were on. The translator had been here longer and knew the systems better. Ship old, it explained. Systems failing. Freighters too cheap to fix properly. This gave Maya an idea. If the ship's systems were fragile, perhaps they could be exploited. She had learned basic coding in school and understood how systems depended on each other. "Can you show me how the door controls work?" she asked the translator. Captain Zorn leaned closer to Maya, studying her with eyes that were surprisingly expressive, almost troubled. "You know this is illegal under Federation law," it said quietly. "Taking sentience from protected worlds." The gray shifted nervously. "We have special license, collector's exemption." "No such exemption exists," Zorn said sharply, then turned back to Maya. "You understand me, human?" Maya nodded. "My name is Maya Thompson. I was kidnapped from Earth." Something flickered in Zorn's strange eyes. "I am station security, but my jurisdiction is complicated. The auction houses operate in gray areas of our law." Hope flared in Maya's chest. "Can you help me?" "Not openly," Zorn admitted, "but I will be watching. The auction is in 6 hours. Be prepared." After the captain left, Maya was taken to a preparation room where she was given new clothes, a simple tunic that shimmered slightly under the lights. Other captives were being similarly dressed, some fighting, others resigned to their fate. Through a gap in a partition, Maya spotted the translator. She waved subtly until she caught its attention. "Spread the word," she mouthed silently. "Something will happen at the auction. Be ready to move." The translator's skin flashed in understanding before it was led away. In the hours that followed, Maya was taught how to stand, how to walk, how to present herself to potential buyers. She complied outwardly while her mind raced, combining what she knew about the station's systems with the rumors she had started. Captain Zorn's interest gave her hope, but she couldn't rely on outside help alone. As the auction time approached, Maya was brought to a holding area behind a large stage. Through a screen, she could see the auction room filling with bizarre creatures, wealthy collectors from across the galaxy, coming to bid on living beings as though they were artworks or furniture. "Lot 23, she heard the auctioneer announce. "Rare aquatic sentient from the Proxima system." Maya looked around desperately. The translator was 3 places ahead of her in line. Security guards, some of the insect-like creatures, stood at each exit. Captain Zorn was nowhere to be seen. Then Maya noticed something. The control panel near the main door had symbols similar to those she had learned to manipulate on the ship. The same operating logic, just more advanced. She took a deep breath. They had underestimated humans once by kidnapping her. They were about to underestimate her again. As she stepped forward in line, Maya Thompson prepared herself not for sale, but for revolution. The auction hall hummed with alien voices as bidders from dozens of worlds examined their digital catalogs. The space resembled an amphitheater, with concentric rings of seating facing a central circular stage. Holographic displays showed details of each lot as it was presented. Maya stood backstage, her heart pounding as she watched the translator being led onto the platform. The auctioneer, a tall, willowy being with translucent skin, described the translator's abilities in glowing terms. Bidding started immediately, with flashing symbols representing astronomical sums. "Remember," whispered a voice behind Maya. She turned to see Captain Zorn standing in the shadows of the preparation area, pretending to inspect the merchandise. The security officer slipped something into Maya's hand, a small metallic disc. "When the moment comes, press this against any control panel," Zorn murmured. "My security codes will give you 30 seconds of access. Choose your target wisely." Before Maya could respond, Zorn moved away, resuming the stern expression of an official on duty. The captain had made a choice, a dangerous one, to help her. The translator was sold to a corpulent being draped in shimmering fabrics. As it was led off stage, its skin flashed a pattern that Maya recognized. "Ready." 2 more lots were presented and sold. Then the auctioneer's voice boomed. And now, ladies, gentlemen, and distinguished beings of all designations, we present our special offering. Lot 26, a juvenile human female from Sol 3, a protected world. Extremely rare, as Federation law strictly forbids harvesting from pre-contact civilizations. The crowd murmured with excitement. Maya was prodded forward by a guard. The bright lights of the stage nearly blinded her as she stood before the audience of alien faces. She forced herself not to shrink back, standing tall instead. Humans are rumored to possess unusual mental abilities, the auctioneer continued, clearly repeating the gossip Maya had deliberately spread. While unconfirmed, there are accounts of telepathic potential and extraordinary adaptability. A voice called from the audience. Can we see a demonstration? The auctioneer looked flustered. This is not a performance hall. I'll show you, Maya interrupted, her voice clear and confident. I can sense things about to happen before they occur. The auctioneer tried to continue, but the crowd was intrigued. Maya pointed to the far side of the room. In exactly 5 seconds, the lighting system in Sector 3 will malfunction. Nothing happened. The audience began to murmur in disappointment. The auctioneer smirked. As you can see. Precisely then, the lights in Sector 3 flickered and went out. The crowd gasped. What none of them knew was that the furry alien Maya had spoken to earlier had friends working in maintenance. They had agreed to help after Maya had promised them freedom if her plan succeeded. And now, Maya continued before anyone could recover, the environmental controls will activate the emergency cooling system. 20 seconds later, cold mist began spraying from ceiling vents, causing confusion and alarm. It wasn't coincidence. It was the second part of Maya's coordinated plan. The auctioneer tried to regain control. A momentary system glitch. Bidding starts at 50,000 credits. But Maya wasn't finished. She needed to get to a main control panel. As the bidding began, she stumbled deliberately, falling to her knees at the edge of the stage. Guard, contain the merchandise, the auctioneer called. As the insect-like guard approached, Maya spotted a control interface embedded in the stage floor. It controlled the stage mechanisms. This was her chance. She slapped Zorn's disc against it while pretending to struggle to her feet. The panel lit up, accepting her access. Maya's fingers flew across the symbols, applying what she had learned on the ship. She wasn't trying to escape. She was aiming bigger. The stage began to rotate unexpectedly. The auctioneer lost balance. Simultaneously, all the doors to the holding areas opened. Confused captives peered out, uncertain. Now, Maya shouted, EVE-1 run. The auction erupted into chaos. Captives surged from the holding areas while buyers scrambled from their seats. The guards were overwhelmed, unable to contain the sudden mass movement. Maya sprinted toward where she had last seen the translator. The station's alarm systems began blaring, adding to the confusion. Stop her, the auctioneer screamed, but it was too late. Maya reached a central control station and applied Zorn's disc again. This time, she accessed the station's public announcement system. Attention all beings. Her voice echoed throughout the auction house and beyond. Illegal trafficking of sentient beings from protected worlds is happening in Auction House 6. Federation law is being broken. Security forces respond. Captain Zorn appeared beside her, no longer hiding her allegiance. My security teams are on their way. You've done well, Maya Thompson. The translator slithered up to them, its skin pulsing with excited colors. The others are freeing the remaining captives. The traders are trying to escape, but station security is blocking the docking bays. Maya looked around at the chaos she had created. The carefully orchestrated auction had collapsed. Buyers were fleeing to avoid association with illegal trafficking. Guards were abandoning their posts. For the first time since her abduction, Maya smiled. She wasn't merchandise. She wasn't helpless. She was human, and far more dangerous than any of them had imagined. As the sounds of approaching security forces grew louder, Maya exchanged glances with Captain Zorn and the translator. This wasn't just an escape anymore. It was the beginning of something much bigger. The aftermath of the auction disruption spread through the central trading hub like wildfire. Security forces swarmed the auction house, led by Captain Zorn, who now openly declared the operation illegal. Traders and buyers scattered, many abandoning their ships in their haste to escape prosecution. Maya sat in Captain Zorn's office, a warm drink that tasted something like cinnamon tea cupped in her hands. The translator hovered nearby, its skin now a calm blue shade that Maya had come to recognize as contentment. Federation peacekeeping vessels will arrive within 12 hours, Zorn explained. The spines around its face relaxed in what Maya now understood was an expression of satisfaction. What you did has exposed a network we've been trying to shut down for years. I just wanted to go home, Maya said quietly. And you will, Zorn assured her. But first, there are matters to address. The door slid open, and a delegation of beings entered. They wore formal attire with insignia that even Maya could recognize as important. The lead figure, a tall humanoid with silvery skin that seemed to ripple like water, approached and bowed slightly. I am Ambassador Thiel of the Federation Council, it said, voice musical and flowing. You have created quite a situation, young human. Maya straightened her shoulders. These people broke your laws. They took me from my protected world. Indeed, Thiel agreed. But your world remains unaware of the greater galactic community, your return presence, complications. The translator's skin flashed warning colors. Maya understood the implication immediately. You're not sending me back, she asked, her voice rising. That is one option, Thiel admitted. The alternative would be to welcome you as the first human representative in the Federation, but you would not be permitted to return to Earth. Maya felt a cold fear grip her heart. Never see her parents again. Never go home. The room seemed to spin around her. Captain Zorn stepped forward. Ambassador, with respect, this child has shown exceptional courage and intelligence. She has also demonstrated that humans are more capable than our assessment suggested. I agree, said Thiel, which is why I propose a third option. Over the next hours, Maya listened as the ambassador outlined an unprecedented proposition. She would return to Earth, but as a secret representative, a bridge between humanity and the Federation. Earth would remain officially classified as pre-contact, but Maya would serve as an observer, helping the Federation better understand when humanity might be ready for official first contact. In return, Thiel explained, we will provide protection for those who helped you escape, including your friend. The ambassador gestured toward the translator. Maya looked at the alien who had become her closest ally. What do you want? She asked it. The translator's skin rippled thoughtfully. My world was destroyed long ago. I have nowhere to return to. Perhaps I could help you. Be translator between you and Federation. Maya smiled for the first time in what felt like forever. I'd like that. 3 days later, after all arrangements were finalized, Maya stood in a small Federation vessel bound for Earth. The translator, who had finally shared its actual name, Helix, would remain on a cloaked monitoring station in Earth orbit, able to communicate with Maya through a small device disguised as an ordinary bracelet. Captain Zorn had come to say goodbye. You have changed things, Maya Thompson. The auction houses are being shut down across the sector. Several species have been granted new protections under Federation law. I just wanted to go home, Maya said again, but this time with a small smile. Sometimes the greatest revolutions begin with the simplest desires, Zorn replied. The Federation has existed for millennia, but we grow complacent. Sometimes it takes a child from a primitive world to remind us of our values. The journey to Earth took less than a day in the advanced vessel. They approached under cover of night, cloaking technology hiding them from Earth's primitive detection systems. The ship hovered silently over the park where Maya had been taken, now cordoned off with police tape. Your disappearance has been noticed, the pilot explained. 3 weeks have passed on your world. Your parents have been searching. Maya felt tears well up in her eyes. 3 weeks of worry and pain for her family. As she prepared to teleport down, Ambassador Thiel approached with a final word. Remember, Maya Thompson, you carry knowledge few humans possess. Use it wisely. We will be watching, not as captors, but as future friends. Maya nodded, then felt the strange tingling of the teleportation beam. A moment later, she stood in the familiar park. In the distance, she could see the lights of search parties still looking for her. Taking a deep breath of Earth's air, how strange and wonderful it smelled now, she began walking toward the lights. I'm here, she called out. I'm home. As the searchers rushed toward her, Maya touched the bracelet on her wrist. She was home, but she wasn't the same girl who had been taken. She carried the stars within her now, and a secret that would one day change humanity's place in the universe. Above, invisible in the night sky, her alien friends watched as Maya Thompson was reunited with her world, a revolution completed and another just beginning.